Trouble for Sarah Ferguson. She's been in hiding. We found her, the Sun found her, it was a front page. We had a picture of her. She just popped out of her £2,000 a night resort just to go to a local ski resort. It raises questions, doesn't it, with Sarah? Why she run away? Why is she hiding? You've got US Congress saying that she has questions to answer. What's the future for Sarah once she leaves, ultimately has to leave this Australian bolt hole? Should she be questioned?
Did you say Australian or Austrian?
Oh, I said Austrian bolt hole.
I found this fascinating because we have discussed on the show where in the world is Sarah Ferguson for so long. So well done to the Sun for finding her. But one of the major questions is who is funding this? Where is her money coming from? And I think that and how long will she lay low for? Presumably she can't stay there forever.
Well, I think the rule in EU residency is 90 days. So we're getting quite close to that. But Cameron, she's her former home, Royal Lodge, has been searched. Her ex-husband has been arrested, and she has been named numerous times contacting Jeffrey Epstein. While we're not accusing her of any crime, surely the authorities, now they know in Austria, will want to speak to her.
Well, her default seems to always be kind of run away and then quietly reflect when there's a scandal about her. I mean, I agree with you, Bronte. I don't know how she's getting this money to fund this luxury lifestyle continually. I think there was rumours she spent some time in Ireland as well, and then this retreat in Switzerland too. I think eventually she's going to have to come back and face the music, despite not wanting to. I mean, I can't see a situation where she's going to fly across to the US and directly answer questions like the Clintons have had to do and others. Let's just wait and see. I think she'd want to stay out of the spotlight as much as possible. Does she want to come back into public life? I doubt it very much in terms of being in public, but will she need to in order to get more money to fund this lifestyle?
Well, she's an unexploded bomb. Let's be honest. Sarah's an unexploded bomb because she is. We asked to interview her because we went to Austria and we were taking pictures. We said, "Are we allowed to interview her?" No, she won't comment. Everyone else has been trying to talk to her. Even Newsnight, famously who created that car crash interview with Andrew, had the chutzpah to say, "Sarah, would you like to do a Newsnight interview?" And among many different TV companies and production teams, she's refused. But at some stage, she's got to say something to somebody.
It depends. I suppose it depends on what her plan is for the future. Maybe she doesn't have one yet. But if she were to try to have some sort of life after this, she would have to speak out. There would have to be explanations as to, as you say, she's not accused of criminality, but there are huge questions about her ties to Jeffrey Epstein as per these emails and all the communications that came out in the Epstein files. So, and unless she is being funded forever by someone, presumably she will have to move on from this chapter. And I don't see how she does that unless she does answer those questions. But then again, as you say, I can't imagine her doing that. So what next for Sarah?
Well, one person who hasn't spoken to the US authorities, as far as we're aware, is Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. And Julia Ratherley, our Home Affairs correspondent, give her a shout out at The Sun. She's still going through the Epstein files, 3.5 million files. And we found, a couple of years ago, we wrote a story in The Sun saying that the FBI had sent a mutual legal assistance request to the Home Office asking him to testify or help them get him to testify. It got quietly dropped, and we've learned, Julia's found from looking into these files, that what actually happened was that the Home Office believed that if they did compel Andrew to speak to investigators, he would have sued them in the Home Office, as he would have sued them in the High Court. Is this just another case of Andrew refusing to talk and getting lawyers to, wriggle off the hook?
I mean, quite possibly. I mean, clearly he doesn't want to talk. He did the disastrous Newsnight interview. That did not go well for him, for obvious reasons.
But he's put statements out saying that after Newsnight, he did say, I would be prepared to speak to, or during Newsnight, I would be prepared to speak to any authorities. And we're learning now that he's desperately trying not to.
Well, he said to Emily Maitlis something along the lines of, I'd have to look at legal advice, but if it's my duty to do so, I will do. In his kind of way that he said it to Emily Maitlis. And then subsequently, very PR'd statements have come out via the palace or via his spokespeople later down the line, as you say, saying he would be prepared to give evidence. But I think that was before the tranche of Epstein files were released, and perhaps either PR team or his lawyers knew the full facts of his correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, obviously we have to always say that he denies all allegations against him, but nonetheless, it's going to put him in really hot water, because we saw how he was put under pressure with Emily Maitlis, who wasn't in possession of the full facts. So coming up against US Congress, who do have all the Epstein files in front of them, is going to be a bit of a bloodbath, frankly.
And as you rightly say, yes, he did say that in the Newsnight interview. And I remember months afterwards, he was saying, I'll cooperate. It really, there's so much now that he has said publicly that we know has been disputed with correspondence, and it's particularly with the Epstein files, that it feels like just the latest. But it is still, it's quite outrageous that he was claiming that he would cooperate and was saying it so publicly. And then we now read these emails.
Through the missives, it is the Home Office saying we expect him to. We expect him to. If this goes all the way, we expect a court case. But so we're learning more and more. Still not going away. Talking of the US, me and Cameron again,
Yes.
Bronte. You went to Australia, Harry and Meghan. Me and Cameron are off with the King and Queen. In a couple of days' time, we're going to be with the King and Queen in Washington and New York. I can't think of a state visit that almost is such high stakes, Cameron. What are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to? I'm actually really interested to see the reaction to ordinary Americans on the ground. What do they think of the King and Queen? Obviously, they've got Harry and Meghan living in the US, but also just in terms of, do they respect the King and Queen and the British royal family? Because you look at what the White House have said, or President Trump specifically, about not only Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, but about our warships, likening them to toys compared to the US aircraft carriers, for example. Bearing in mind King Charles is head of state, how is that going to go down with the royal household? How's that gone down with Americans? So I think that's what I'm looking forward to. But also, just as a kind of being British point, is their state dinner going to match up to a state banquet at Windsor Castle or Buckingham Palace? I'm not so sure, but the jury's out. I'll wait till I see it.
What about you? What are you excited about?
What I'm excited about? I'm excited. Do you know what my fear about this whole thing is? It's going to be polished. It's going to be fine. Well, I've got some great events that we're going to. As I say, the state dinner. He's making a speech at Congress. There's going to be a garden party that I think Trump will be completely on his best behaviour, and it'll be really grand. It will be really friendly and everything. But the minute the King flies off to Bermuda, journalists are going to phone up Donald Trump, say, what happened to the King? You know, what conversations did you have? He's going to come out on Air Force One, the next flight. And he said, what happened? And that's it's going to be what happens in the days after. Because I think the trip will go swimmingly well. The King is a professional. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
He does.
And you're exactly right that is always the danger. But I do think that the King has proven he knows the stakes. He knows the world he is living in as the monarch. And I think that he will be very well prepared to the best of his ability with someone who can be quite unpredictable. I think he would be very prepared for that going in.
And let's not forget, it's not his choice to go. It's not Queen Camilla's choice to go either. It's Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, and the government who are sending the King and Queen on this royal charm offensive, despite the kind of abuse that Trump has hurled over the Atlantic. They are still prepared to send the King and Queen. Is this really the Prime Minister's last chance to smooth over a relationship with President Trump by using the King and his soft power?
Yeah, they're sending him there to save the Labour government and Starmer's skin. I mean, who knows if Starmer will be there by the time we come off air or by the time that we actually go, because he's under a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of official aspects to all of this, but I'd like you to know that when you come back, I too would like to come on the show and hear about all of the behind-the-scenes gossip.
We'll give you the gossip.
Yeah, you have given us some gossip, and in return, we will give you some return gossip.
We
Does
deserve
that
it.
sound fair?
We all deserve it. Thank you. I would like to hear it.